What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some r/AmITheA butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, as it massively helps out our channel. And yesterday we did have a new member on YouTube. We had Mickey Hon, and we also had Nushi over on Patreon. Thank you so much for your love, support, and time. It means the absolute world, and you know that. And I was considering doing an April Fool's on you guys today. I was going to do the daddy cringe intro and then just say we're rebranding back to it and leave it at that. But I remember last time I did something similar, I lost, I think it's around 200 or 300 subscribers. So I just don't want to risk it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm lame, I know. But anyway, let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. And our first one is a request from Twitter, from Miss Unamused Nerd. Said, Mark, I'm absolutely dying to hear your opinion on this story. And so let's get involved. This story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for throwing away my girlfriend's blanket? I, 26 male, moved in with my girlfriend, 24 female, a couple of months ago. Back when I was setting my stuff in the bedroom, she revealed to me that she still sleeps with a baby blanket. I got weirded out about it, and she explained that she needs the texture for comfort, calling it a sensory device. Yeah, she does have autism, Asperger's I think, and keeps it in her purse when she goes out in case she needs to touch it to calm down. She even confessed she had it in her purse when we started dating. I've always known my girlfriend is autistic and can have childish quirks. I'm fine with her collecting plushies, but this was disturbing to me. For the past couple of months, I just get weirded out watching her spread it all over her pillow every night before bed. I feel like I'm in bed with a little girl and it just grosses me out. It's just a turn off. A couple of days ago, I just couldn't take it anymore. When my girlfriend left to visit her parents, since she left it behind, I threw her blanket in the outside trash. When we got ready for bed, she was looking for it and asked me where it was. I didn't lie to her and I told her the truth. I told her that I find it really creeping and disturbing that a grown woman still sleeps with and carries around a blankie. I told her she's not a child and she needs to let go of childish things. After I told her that, she blew up at me, saying I was ableist and shaming her for being autistic, that it was her coping device. When she bought that, she was going to buy another one. I said I would break up with her if she did. She ended up crying. I just walked out. When I talked to my friends, they agreed that it was weird she still has a blanket and laughed at the situation. I tried to call and text her and she told me she's staying with her parents over the Thanksgiving weekend and wants me out. I honestly don't think what I did wasn't that bad. I was just trying to help her. I mean, my friends were making fun of her. Sleeping with a blanket at her age is weird. Am I the arsehole? It's one of those ones where it's going to be an automatic, you are the arsehole in this situation. I mean, she expressed to you multiple times that she had autism and it was a coping mechanism for her, and you just totally downplayed it and called her childish and all this kind of stuff. You're absolutely the arsehole for this, 100%. And even if the person didn't have autism, you know, many people carry blankets and things like that from a young age and they always have them, and some people take them through to adulthood and they still use them, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that helps you with life, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as it's not an unhealthy relationship with it, you're just using it at night time or occasionally touching it, what is wrong with that, right? But Ground Little says you're the arsehole. If you can't realize why you're the arsehole, you need to pull your head out your ass. She deserves better. And Yay Darkness says, you're already the arsehole. You're going to be an arsehole no matter what you do from here. You went into this relationship knowing she's neurodivergent. You knew that. That wasn't a surprise. Her blankie was something that grounded her because of her sensory output is something that can be overwhelming for people on the spectrum. You're referring to it as childish because it's something from her childhood, but she's an adult who knows her issues and recognizes them and why she does what she does. You are the child that can't handle a grown woman using her own things in a way that doesn't affect you. It turns you off. Oh, poor baby. Then maybe this isn't the relationship for you. You are trying to change her, shame her, guilt her, and make her something she clearly isn't. And being your equally immature bros think it's funny, you feel that validates you stealing her property and disposing of it. That was destruction and theft of property. You don't get to change her life because you're dating now. You don't also own her things or her behaviors. You're a massive a-hole. Why are you dating someone you think is weird? Just go, man. And KYC says, okay, you're the arsehole, obviously. Reading Am I the Arsehole blows my mind some days. How is it that so many people think it's somehow okay to throw away, give away, sell things that don't belong to them? Are you people real? And Gray's Confused says, you're the arsehole. Why are you dating an autistic person if you're going to ridicule her for it? Absolutely disgusting. I hope she doesn't come back. And Jay Hercules says, you're the arsehole. I'm a 23-year-old woman and I have a blankie. You are ableist. She told you multiple times that she used it to cope with her autism and you threw it out without consulting her. Because why? You're embarrassed by her. You're the arsehole big time, dude. I hope she dumps you. And Birch417 says, you're the arsehole massively. First you throw out something that isn't yours and brings your girlfriend comfort. Then when she's crying, you leave. After that, you bring it to your friends where you all laugh at and I assume make fun of your girlfriend for needing a comfort blanket. What you did wasn't trying to help her. You were trying to make yourself happy and in doing so, made yourself a selfish arsehole who she doesn't waste her time on. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation and what would you do in it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And our next story comes from Entire Gazelle 3478. Am I the arsehole for cutting off a neighbour and saying it's not my job to listen to her complaints? So my dad is our condo's manager, administrator. He's been voted for that position for the 3rd time in a row, so he must be good at it. But he's also kind of an odd guy, as he's adverse to technology and doesn't even own a phone. That means our intercom rings all day, every day with people wanting to talk to him. When he's not home, me, mum and sister just ask him to call later or send him an email. There's this one lady though, who just won't quit. She always wants to leave a message and she always has a list of complaints. After a couple of times we learned to deal with her by telling her to refer to the book of complaints or leave her a message with the doorman, or to email my dad. Yesterday though, she called and I just couldn't deal. It went like, hello, I want to speak to the manager. To which I say, he went out, please try again later. And she says, no, just let me say this. I went down to the common area and all the chairs have been moved. I said, I don't know anything about it. I'll tell my dad to call you back. She then says, this is unacceptable. I have a right to go down with my son and have the chairs to sit on. This hurts my rights to come and go. I have to skip therapy because there were no chairs by the playground. I cut her off and say, listen lady, I have nothing to do with it. I don't work for the condo and I'm not my dad's secretary. It's not my job to listen or take note of your complaints. I will not pass on this message, so you'll need to write it down on the book like we've told you a million times. Good day. And I slammed down the phone. So the next day, she emailed my dad and written on the book that I'd been unnecessarily rude and uncivil to her. I'll admit that I was curt. I cut her off and I raised my voice. Am I the arsehole? Now pretty much there's a quick fix to this story and it does make your dad the arsehole in the situation, and that's just get himself a phone. Technology or not, it doesn't take much to use a phone these days, so you can get one pretty easily. So there's just no excuse for it. But one thing that really did jump out to me when I was reading this is the book of complaints. How sinister does that sound? But Knox Wild says, your dad is the arsehole for not having a dedicated phone for his condo work and for allowing all these people to knock on the family door and call the family line. It's annoying for the residents and it's annoying for you. It's his job to handle complaints and problems, not you or your mother. This one pushy tenant is a really good reason for you to tell your dad to get a damn phone, or to send out a notice to all residents clearly listing out the correct way to reach him, not the arsehole. You know, and from this comment, something just popped into my head as well, and I might be completely wrong and reaching as usual, but you know, people get really angry sometimes to do with this sort of stuff, and imagine getting an extremely frustrated tenant, like, you know, someone completely losing the plot at your front door when the father's out and, you know, it's nothing to do with you and you can't do nothing about it, and it's getting increasingly more agitated, and it could be potentially a dangerous situation, and I know that's just really reaching here, but I thought I'd add that one in there as well. And Fall says, your dad is the arsehole. He needs to get a damn phone. And Kashi Callow says, not the arsehole. Her entitled, my rights, me attitude needs to be checked and she deserves to be told off for that. Unless it's an emergency, you shouldn't be calling the landlord or property manager for anything. An email or message is sufficient since it doesn't seem like a complaint required immediate attention. Your dad should get a phone so that he can deal with her shit himself. And Snip Fox says, it sounds like both your dad and the woman are the real arseholes here. His refusal to get a cell phone in a world where it's nearly impossible to go without, and her demeaning manner. You're right, it's not your job to take his messages. At least it seems the point was made, however. And Sneaky Fox says, not the arsehole, you're 100% correct. It's not your problem even a little, but the position your dad holds seems to require a phone, even just a basic one. Whether he wants one or not, time for the rest of you to lean on him to get one so the issue stops bothering those not affected by it. And one more from Individual Ad saying, not the arsehole but your dad is. His refusal to have a work phone is causing this trouble. He needs to fix it. And now I turn this one to you guys. What would you guys do in this situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And our next story is from Got a New Car. Am I the arsehole for spending my daughter's wedding fund on a car and a trip after she got eloped? My only child, Diana, and her now husband started dating in college and had been engaged just before the pandemic hit. After not being able to really plan for over a year due to everything, they decided a couple of weeks ago to just take a trip, the two of them, and elope. I'm very happy for them, and honestly, I'm glad to not have to deal with the stress of wedding planning. I had $35k about set aside for her wedding in an account I've had for a long time. After she told me about the news, I was thrilled to be able to just put it to other use. My car has been having some trouble lately, so I decided to just treat myself and get a new car in cash with the wedding fund. I paid about $30,000, and with the rest of the money, my wife and I decided we would take our own little getaway. I didn't think this was controversial. Then this past weekend, Diana was over and asked if, since I did have to pay for a big wedding, if they could get the money to use towards a down payment. I told her sorry, but that's how I paid for my new car, and will be paying for my upcoming trip. To say she was upset is an understatement. I figured I'd just let her cool off, but then last night my ex, her mum, called me to tell me I made a selfish move and said some more things I won't repeat. I never told her it was a wedding or whatever she wanted fund, so I didn't think I did anything wrong. Would really appreciate some non-biased perspectives. Edit, sorry if I worded this poorly, I'm not the best writer. She knew that I had money put aside for her wedding. It was something we talked about when she first got engaged over a year ago, but it's came up at times before that too. Just something I planned for due to having a daughter. I never told her it was a fund for her to use on whatever. I paid for her college and planned on paying for her wedding, but beyond that didn't plan on paying for her way through life. I've gotten lots of comments about being divorced or rich for having savings and I have no clue where that comes from. Her mother and I had her at 19 and were never married. I've done well for myself considering I never went to college, but I am definitely not wealthy. Not sure why that is relevant, but want to correct all those claims. And we'll start off with, we are already here saying, I can hear where the daughter is coming from. She feels that money is supposed to be used for her. Since her big wedding didn't happen, she should be able to use it for another purpose. That said, she is being entitled here. If she discussed the situation with her dad beforehand, we decided to elope, would you be open to giving us the wedding money to spend on a house, etc., then they might have worked something out, or dad could have said no. The issue is that she assumed it was still hers and is now disappointed that they can't buy a house right away and is behaving childishly. OP, you are not the arsehole. Daughter is allowed to be disappointed, but not an ungrateful entitled brat, especially since you paid for all of her schooling. And RB1327 says, not the arsehole. Parents paying for or contributing towards a wedding is always a bonus. Whether you had it in a separate account or you would have paid out of your normal accounts, still your money. If she truly felt she was entitled to this money, then she should have explicitly had a discussion with you prior to eloping. Like, I think we're going to skip the big wedding and just elope. How would you feel about using that money to help us towards a house? And Purple says, I'm going to give a tentative not the arsehole, but realistically this largely comes down to how the fund was discussed and handled between you and your daughter, and you were not very clear about that in the original post. A friend's parents had a wedding fund for her, and while I'm not super clear about how it was discussed privately, she was able to use what she didn't spend on the wedding towards her honeymoon and house. I wouldn't go so far as to say that would be assumed, but again, it would come down to the understanding between you and your daughter, and we don't really know what that was like. And one more from Kalkiki saying, not the arsehole, it was your money that you set aside for a wedding. That isn't going to happen. I feel like when money is set aside for someone for a specific purpose, it's pretty clear that if that doesn't happen, then they don't get it. And now I turn this one to you guys. Do you think daughter does have a right to be upset in this situation or be entitled to that money? Do you have a different opinion on it at all than these not the arsehole ones? I would love to hear it. Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from Sleepy Throwaway. Am I the arsehole for faking sleeping all night to see if my wife is lying? The past couple of months, my wife has been complaining about our cats. She's been claiming that the cats wake her up constantly and that she's frustrated every night that she has to get up and open the door for the cats, or the cats keep making noises, or the cats keep jumping on her. It got to the point where she started saying she wants me to get rid of them. I told her I've never seen or heard any of this, but she claims I sleep through it all. She kept telling me that she was getting less and less sleep and kept acting aggressive, blaming lack of sleep from the cats and that if I didn't get rid of them, she'd leave me. I legitimately started considering giving the cats to my sister until I noticed something. One morning, she claimed that she gotten up multiple times throughout the night to help the cats. She listed a bunch of times. I thought it was weird because I had been up until 4 AM and she claimed that she got up at 1 AM to open the door for them and a few times at around 3 AM because they were meowing and jumping on her. I was in the bedroom and the entire time while we slept, and I know none of that happened. Things weren't adding up, so I decided to run a test. I waited until she said she was going to bed, and then I let the cats out of the bedroom, lowered my phone brightness, and faked going to sleep. I just lay there in bed for the entire night, bored, but I definitely did not fall asleep. I made sure to make timestamps every 30 minutes on my phone through Discord, just to be sure. I marked down every noise my cats made. One cat had jumped down from something and made a little sound around 3:18 AM, and one ate food relatively quietly by the bedroom door at 4:57 AM. Other than that, nothing happened. Sure enough, my wife slept from 11 PM until 9 AM, and that morning she claimed she had woken up at least 7 times to open doors and from cat noises and cats jumping on her. At this point I was pissed because she was clearly lying to me. I was exhausted and fed up with the lies, so I just bluntly called her out on it. I told her, "That's funny, I stayed up all night to monitor the cats, and they weren't even in the room at all last night. I have timestamps and everything. So you've been lying to me and trying to convince me to get rid of my cats. Why?" She just sat there, quietly shaking and looking pissed, and then got up and left without answering. She came back hours later and ignored me whenever I talked, and when I asked her how I'm the bad guy in this situation, she finally said that I was treating her like a child by lying about sleeping and staying up all night just to see if she was lying or not, and that making timestamps and everything as if I was an investigator was going too far and makes me an obsessive asshole. I did it because she was threatening to make me get rid of my cats or she'd leave me, and her claims didn't add up. So am I an obsessive asshole? Nope, because this is what we call gaslighting, and that's what this person was doing to you, and then manipulating you after the fact as well. It's absolutely arseholeish behaviour what she was doing, but why is she doing it? Is it just because she wants the cats out of the house, or is there something more to this as well? And just as I was talking now, I was skipping through the comments and I noticed OP has put an update, so we are going to cover that after a couple of the comments. So let's go straight there to see what they say. And we'll start with Crimson Tide said, "Not the arsehole. That was gaslighting and manipulative. And if she had issues with your cats, she should have said so directly." And Samwise says, "Not the arsehole, but you kind of called her bluff about her leaving you now. You removed the cats from the equation. Wishing you all the best." And Noodles R says, "Not the arsehole. In my opinion, you had to test her. She's trying to get you to get rid of your pets and essentially blackmailing your relationship over it. What's your next move?" And Leopard Recent says, "Not the arsehole, but I can't help but wonder if your wife has some type of sleep disorder. I suffer from insomnia and fall asleep for just a few minutes at times some nights and have very vivid, realistic dreams. When I get up in the morning, I struggle sometimes to figure out what was real and what was just a dream." And a Potato Pancake says, "Not the arsehole, your wife is gaslighting you. You are not an obsessive arsehole, she is." And now let's cover the update from OP. So update for those who see it. Well, she's gone for now. By that, I mean I kicked her out of the house. Why? Because she's been in the bedroom for hours now, watching YouTube, refusing to talk to me about what's happened. A few minutes ago, one of the cats started meowing and scratching to get into the room. Within seconds of him doing that, she ran over to the door and kicked it really hard and screamed, "This is all your fault. F off." It scared the shit out of the cat and hid under the couch. I opened the door and asked her what her deal was, that could have hurt the cat, and she said, "Good, F the cat." So I told her to get out of the house and go and find somewhere else to stay for a while. She tried to cry away out of the situation, but I told her I had enough. I'm done. She had every opportunity to talk to me, and now she's screaming at the cats and kicking doors and scaring them. I tried to listen and offered help, but she wanted none of it. Too late. As she was leaving, I told her she can call me when she's calmed down and willing to talk. I'm just so drained at this point. I tried. I gave her a chance to talk before all of this, and she insisted there was nothing to talk about. I may not have handled it in the most mature and healthy way, sure, but I tried. Maybe this can be fixed, maybe not. I had hoped a few hours ago, now I just... whatever. I'm so sorry. I think I'm done replying for now, just so much going on. So much to think about, too many trollish comments and messages, too many people coming up with conspiracy theories, too many people who can't read or bother to check my comments. It's all so tiresome. Life is fun though. Wow. Now, what do you guys think of this situation and what do you think OP could do in it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, once again, guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you did enjoy today's stories, and if you did, you know what to do. Hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. I cannot express how much all that really does help this channel. It really does mean the world and really, pushes the videos further. Thank you so much for your love, support, and time, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.
Boxes are defeated. Purpose always fleeting. I pose questions to the ceiling like an answer gonna come. Truth is too revealing. Life is easier concealing. All emotions till they start on your heart going numb. I shouldn't be in drive more. I just wanna feel alive more. I feel hurt all the time, boy. I can't see straight. I've been